Hello, I'm Christian Triola, author of The Missing Method for Guitar books. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to play Talk Dirty to Me by Poison. The year was 1986, and Poison's huge record, Look What the Cat Dragged In, was topping the charts. And among their most popular songs on that album was Talk Dirty to Me, the one we're talking about today. And so in this video, I'm going to show you how to play it to help you practice your power chords. It's pretty easy, pretty basic tune to learn, and it's just a lot of fun. You might even pick up a few things along the way that you haven't done before. We'll be talking about power chords, palm muting, and of course strumming on the offbeat and some other things as well. So download the PDF, print the PDF, and then practice. So here we go, let's get started. First, to sound like the recording, what you want to do is lower each string by a half step. And you can do that on most guitar tuners. If you haven't done it before, it might seem a little bit scary, but it's really easy to do. Just go to your tuner on the low string E, tune it down to an E flat. A lot of tuners will label it as D sharp. Same thing. So just watch out for that. Just lower everything a half step and it'll sound good. Now, if you don't want to do that, if you're not comfortable with that, there's nothing wrong with playing it in standard tuning. Just know that it's not going to sound quite like the recording. Now, I've already tuned my guitar down a half step, so that way you can hear what it'll sound like when you're playing it just like they did. All right, so the first thing we want to look at is the intro, which also happens to be the same thing they're playing in the chorus sections of the song. So I've seen a couple different versions of this and I've listened to it, and I think they're really playing a two-note power chord here. It has a bigger, fuller sound, but this just kind of works and it's a good place to start. So the first chord they have is called C5. They're playing it on the 5th string 3rd fret, plus you have a note on the 4th string 5th fret, and you put those two together. Now, one thing I want to mention, because of the nature of how you strum this, it's a good idea to have your first finger touch the last string. So when you hit it, or if you hit it, it doesn't really make much sound. It's just a little bit of a thud sound. And so that kind of helps mute that string. Also, too, notice that my first finger is fairly flat. It's kind of touching the other strings, but it's not pressing down. So if I just press down on those two notes and hit more strings than I should, you only hear that chord, which is kind of nice, you know. And you can kind of see my middle finger kind of comes up there automatically just to give that last string a little bit more support as far as muting it goes. You don't have to do that. Usually just your index finger will do that, but I think it's just become an automatic thing for me, so that's why I do that. So once you have that chord, it's down. The next thing, and you won't see this in the tab, you actually have what's called a percussive strum. So you release the pressure here, but keep your fingers on the string. So when you strum down again, you just get this thud sound. Then you want it this time. So we have down, thud, up, and then up, down after that. So down. Down, thud, up, down. Down, thud, up, down. Now usually when you're playing power chords, a lot of times it'll just be all downstroke like we've seen with the Ramones. But in this case, it just makes a lot of sense to keep your wrist swinging because you'll get the sound that you're looking for. Now the nice thing is that same strum pattern is applied to the next chord. So to play that next chord, you just take these two fingers, move them up 1, 2 frets, so you're on frets 5 and 7, and then you do the same thing. And you've got the beginning of the song. So here's everything so far. All right, so now we're getting into the next part of the song, or the third measure. So we're going to take this same shape, stay on the same strings, and move it up to frets 9 and 10. Now we only play that once, and then we slide up to the 10, 12, and then strum that 2 more times. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So you're playing, sliding, strumming twice. Just like that. So at full speed, you can hear much clearer there. All right, the next measure does about the same thing to start. So you do that one more time, and then you have a pause, and then go up, down. So you have. And what I noticed I was doing there is down, up, down, 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 up. All right, so if you take all of that, put it together, you have both the intro and then later on in the song, the chorus. So here it is all together, starting at that 3rd fret on the 5th string. All right, now they play a little bit faster than that, so that demonstration is just to give you an idea of what you want it to sound like. And then from there, you can build up speed to match what they're doing on the recording. All right, so that's the intro and the chorus that comes later on. So the next thing we're going to take a look at are the verse section. So in the song, the verses have some variation in them. So you're going to want to listen to this actual song to find out what those variations are. What I'm going to show you is kind of a generalized way that you can play that, and it's always going to sound good. So let's take a look at the first chord we're going to have in the verse section. So your index finger goes on the 5th string, 10th fret. Your 3rd finger goes on the 12th fret, and you play those 2 notes together. And then, of course, your index finger, you'll want it to touch that last string if you can get it to kind of mute that a little bit. The picking is all downstroke. So you'll have 8th notes, all downstroke, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. And it's down, 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 down. And that takes up 1 measure. And you do that 4 times, which seems like a lot. And when you're playing it, it almost feels like, man, aren't they going to change chords anytime soon? But when you hear it in the song, it makes perfect sense. So here's what we've got. We've got those 2. And then another technique that is used in the verse section is a palm mute. And so to palm mute, you take your picking hand, you take this soft part right here, and you put it down on the strings next to the bridge. And what that does is gives you a muffled sound. So it kind of quiets the sound, but still gives you some tone, as opposed to. So you can hear there's a big difference there. So I'm going to get that chord again, 10 and 12 on the 5th and 4th strings, and I'm going to play through the first 4 measures of the verse. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and that gets us started. For the next chord, you simply take those same 2 fingers, drop them down to frets 5 and 7 on the same string, and then you strum it the same way and the same number of times. So you have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Next up, same kind of idea, but now we're going to strings 3 and 5 and doing the same thing. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. After that, we come back up to 10 and 12, but only 2 measures this time. And then to finish the verse sections, you come back to 5 and 7 and play those 2 together. And that's everything you need to play the verse. So I'm going to go through the whole verse all together. So here we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then from there, it simply goes into the chorus, which is the same as the intro. And there you have it. Now you have all the parts that you need to play a bulk of the Poison hit Talk Dirty to Me. It's a lot of fun to play. I think I say that in every video, but it's true. This one's just a lot of fun to play. They all are. I have very rarely come across a song I didn't enjoy playing. As it turns out, even bands whose music I don't particularly care for, I'll play their stuff on the guitar because I just love playing it. So that's something to keep in mind. You know, if you're not enjoying a song, scrap it. Find something that you do like, because there's tons of stuff out there to choose from. All right, well, hopefully this gives you a chance to practice some of your power chords. Again, there's a PDF that you can download that'll help you out. And so if you learned something from that, if you enjoyed the video, then please do give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and then go to our website, themissingmethod.com. You can find out about all our books. In fact, the one I have here, Guitar Chord Master Power Chords. It goes through every kind of power chord you can imagine. The ones that I was playing today, plus a lot of different ones, inverted power chords, drop D power chords, all sorts of stuff. So it's definitely a great book to have if you need some help with power chords or want to learn some new ones. Also, while you're on the website, be sure to sign up for our mailing list. When you do, you'll get a free ebook as well, so keep that in mind. All right, well, that's all I have for today. So enjoy the tunes and have fun, and I'll see you next time.